Hi there. Welcome back to Tarot by Janine. How's everybody doing? I'm doing all right. Lots happening here in Canada. I thought I'd have a look tonight at the US because there's also a lot going on there with that DURHAM report, or Durham coming out with daily zingers. And just truth is coming out. I just can't believe the times we live in. And of course, there's all the rumors. I think it was Mr. T on his new platform. I think it's called the Truth Social or something like that. His first, announcement he made on that Truth Social, I think it's called, was that we'd be seeing him real soon. Your favorite prez. You're going to see me real soon. I think it was something like that. So that's exciting. And I do really feel like we're gearing up for that. So let's have a look at what's going on in the US, just all around politically and just in life. I feel Mr. T's been there in the background all along, and a lot of people feel that way. Okay, but it seems to me he's signaling fairly clearly that he'll be stepping out in front, and who knows exactly what role and exactly how that'll all happen. So we're going to look around that. Then we'll look at Canada, because obviously with what our Mr. T, so I hate to even call him that, but Mr. Trudeau, I like to call him. He, announced is pretty much the equivalent of martial law in Canada. Okay, so basically it's an emergency act that hasn't been used since the 70s. And his father, or who they say is his father, was the last person to actually use that. So nothing like that is happening in Canada, let me tell you. There's too much love and freedom going on, I guess, for Mr. Trudeau. He just can't handle that. Okay, so his globalist roots just can't fathom freedom and love. So that's why he called it Emergency Act, okay, because he's going to shut down those bouncy huts and all of the love that's going on in Ottawa. So we're going to look at how's that going for him and how's that going to look, because now our Ottawa's chief of police quit or probably was asked to leave. And there's all kinds of rumors as to why that really happened. Okay, but of course what they're saying is one thing, and of course what really probably happened is another. So what's going to happen next for Canada? So we'll look at that, and then we'll have a look at Australia, because that's another hot spot. Because in Australia, they've got Ricardo Boise, and he seems to be leading the people, millions of them. Wow. So just think and then of course their police force, horrifying, what they're doing to their people, but not too far off what could be happening in Canada. We don't know. We don't know what's coming this week. So let's have a look. We'll start with the US. So we've got the Lovers as the US, sort of its overall card, and the Wheel of Fortune. So you're going to have a big flip around who's running the country. So who appears to be running the country is obviously not running the country. We know that. And all of a sudden, a lot of states are going to drop all their mandates. I know it's already started. I know even DC dropped their mandates, but a lot more of those states are going to drop the mandates because there's a freedom card there. Okay, so it's been hot and cold. You had your what they call red states that really had tough mandates and lockdowns and silliness going on. But I feel like all of a sudden, all kinds of things are going to contribute here in the coming days and weeks to everybody dropping it. I'm feeling like all over the country dropping those mandates, which is awesome because that's the freedom card right in the middle. Okay, and then the Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles, the Hierophant, and the Ace. That's about, that could be mainstream media finally really outing the deep state players. Well, this card can be about justice too with the Lovers. So just, because the Lovers is a 6 and it can talk about balance and justice. So the deep state card with an Ace of Swords. So Ace of Swords, things coming out. So things coming out, mainstream media, things coming out in the mainstream media. They have to, things can't stay hidden. You know what I mean? Obviously they've been so far, but I feel like time to out those guys. And don't forget, CNN was bought out by a huge Trump supporter. So you're bound to see changes, okay? So that's what it looks like. Wheel of Fortune's going to flip everything. So you got new leadership in the front, not just in the back. Like we know that leadership that I'm talking about has been in the background, but it's about to come forward with that big ace. Okay, we've got justice coming or us hearing about it. So even regular folks are going to hear about justice coming for the bad players. That'll be news to a lot of people who don't even know that those bad players are up to what they're up to. You know what I mean? The sleepers. Okay, we've got the Fool and the Four. They're going to make it look like slip-ups at first in the mainstream media. They're going to make it look like they're going to sneak it in really funny ways, which they've been doing that for months. Okay, but that's going to really heat up. Okay. And now we've got the Chariot and wow. Okay, that looks Queen of Swords reminds me of Hillary. And, there's been a lot of stuff coming out about her with the Durham situation. All the stuff he's coming out with, all the truths about what happened really when they were blaming Mr. T on everything, okay, especially to do with Russia, okay. So I wonder if they're going to publicly really out her. Like they already have been in some ways, but this feels like even more intensely. Like literally just call her out here and call a spade and really bring out the truth about who really she is or was in this. I feel like secretly she's been rounded up and or even dealt with and processed a long time ago. Yeah, a lot of secrets coming out here. So that'll just keep heating up here. And never far behind, we've got this Hermit card. So the Hermit, I believe Mr. T, so Trump, is really strongly advised by a group and or in maybe even particular, either off-worlders, I never know exactly what to call them, wise ones. So galactic wisdom, our future selves wisdom, more evolved souls than ourselves. It might even be human, but they're like our future selves, our future knowing. Yeah, I believe he's really advised by those. And I feel like they're just sitting on more and more knowledge about that comes out, but they're even trying to decide here in the next couple of, that could be days or weeks too, if they should just out with that, maybe even introduce us to some of those energies. Yeah. So there's a lot going on in the US. I think a complete flip for leadership. I think they're going to have a way here where they just present Mr. T. Yeah, that whole idea that it's going to be this big convoluted way they're going to do that, where he's the Speaker of the House and everything. I don't get that. I think that's coming right away here. I think that Wheel of Fortune is upon them. And the whole Mr. B thing gets outed, like where they just scoot him out. In fact, let's do a little layout on how exactly do they exit Mr. B. We've looked at that several times. Let's see if the universe wants to tell us this time. They're definitely outing our Canadian Mr. T. I mean, he's been outed on the world stage as exactly the globalist he is. Like globalist is a polite way to put what they're calling him. I mean, he is outed in every way. Okay, so here we've got, how are they going to get rid of him? So we've got the 8 of Cups. So they've already shown him to be, he's not, his mind isn't all there. Let's just say that. Yeah, he doesn't have the wherewithal, okay? His mind's left him. Okay, they've been working on that for a really long time, obviously. Okay, even like his physical body functions are, deteriorating. Like they've really done a number on that part of the movie, if you want my opinion. They've got it so it would be really easy here to just out him for mental capability. That's what it looks like. They're literally going to out him for mental capability. I wonder if they'll have him get an mental capacity exam or something. and then they out him on his mental abilities or lack thereof. That's what I get. They actually get him on, his functioning, his mental functioning. I'm sure there's a better word for it, but you guys can fill it in the comments. Okay, so yeah, he's out of there. So that we always knew Durham was real. I always got that he was, and that wasn't just a facade. That was going to really come and bite these guys, these deep state players in the butt. And guess what? Daily, it's causing the wheel of fortune. It's going to flip everything there. I don't know, man. That's crazy. Okay, let's have a look at Canada. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Swords. So that's somebody being really firm and direct and think they're right. Well, that sounds like Mr. Trudeau. I can't possibly call him his real name because he doesn't deserve it. So I'm going to keep calling him that. And we've got the Chariot. So he's threatening to do all of these things. Like if he can really pull off this emergency act. So he's saying he's going to, and apparently he has the power to do that. Some people dispute that he does. But so we've got the Chariot though. So he definitely looks like he's going to do it. But then all of a sudden he gets stopped. Okay, so there's some kind of hold up where he gets stopped. Somebody informs him that he can't do that somehow. Something's going to come up, and it looks like it's coming up fast. It could even be tomorrow. It could be the next day. Something's coming up. Could even be before the weekend here with that page. There's something coming right up where he actually gets stopped from doing that. And maybe it's even, because this card says maybe a lot of the police force that he needs to do it, or again, the military, maybe people don't show up. Maybe a lot of those forces don't show up for him. He's not getting the backup. And we've got this secretive card in the past. So there's a whole lot of secrets going on. I feel like the secret that's being kept from us is that there's a shadow government. I really do. And actually all of this was dreamt up as a way to out this guy, okay? Because we've got that hermit in the middle again. So this is all a ploy. So don't despair, Canadians. This is all an act and a show. I don't know how many people on the ground actually know that they're in the movie, but in the background, this was all orchestrated, okay? Because this guy's puppeted, and then he doesn't even get to go through with it anyway. Something absolutely stops him. And it could even be that the people are supported by the very police and military that he thinks is going to back him up. He doesn't have the backup again. So he doesn't get to bring the tanks in. He doesn't get to, the tow truck people aren't going to be demanded to do he doesn't have the ability here. So somehow his ability gets taken away from him. Let's ask, how long will the truckers actually stay in Ottawa? I know they're all over Canada, and I know there's lots of spots. And some of them have dispersed already. We know that the Coutts border dispersed that they dreamed up, okay, the law enforcement around that area to get those guys out of there. Yeah, nasty. Okay, but they left peacefully because they went there in peace. Yep, they dreamt up a big psyop. 10 and 8. So they've already been there quite a while. And they've actually already accomplished a lot. I mean, they've emboldened groups from all over the world to do similar things. Even New York was out. I posted a whole bunch of videos of it on my Telegram and various other socials. New York, people that live in New York were out in front of the embassy, the Canadian embassy, and they were shouting for Trudeau to be taken out, to be gone, and to stop, the enslavement basically of Canadians. I mean, it was brilliant. They were all defending Canadians. It was almost like our big brother or sister from, the South, I guess. I guess it's south of here, south. Southeast in my case, okay. New Yorkers, they were all on the defensive, and here they've had it really rough. But I thought it was absolutely beautiful and even magical that they were sticking up for their Canadian brothers and sisters. And, you know, US and Canada are coming together over this. This trucker thing's way bigger than it just on the surface, what it looks like. It's about unity all over the world. It's literally about freedom and unity. It's just brilliant. I can't even, like, it's taken on a life of its own that maybe wasn't even the intention in the first place, but the magic that's coming out of it's just amazing. Okay, so we've got this 10. So they feel really happy about, and they're happy to stay longer too. They feel like they're in a good place, and a whole lot of things are happening to the positive on the background that we don't even know about. They might have even been talking to police on their own and finding out that actually a lot of them might back them. We know that 30% or more, but in at least 30% of the police force in Ottawa stepped away, took holidays, or even quit over this whole thing, right? And of course, there's the shenanigans with the police chief. Okay, so they're ready to stay. So they're not going anytime soon here. Let's see how Australia is doing, because we know that that's a tough spot there, and they're really, really, really hard on their people there. Doesn't look like Canada's going to go that direction, because Trudeau there, he doesn't have the backup whatsoever. People are going to be walking away from his little scheme because it's really based in absolute ridiculousness. It's absurd, frankly. And a lot of people, like, their common sense kicked in. We saw that with Doug Ford. He did a flippy. Okay. He absolutely spoke a little truth for once. You'll see that on the Jean-Claude and Janine Live we did Tuesday night. Have a little look at that. We talk about what Ford did, and you might see it. Okay, so they've got the momentum. Oh my goodness. Okay, and a big part of that comes from that Australia One Party, and in particular, Ricardo Boise. I hope I said his name right. But yeah, so they've got a whole, and they've also got a whole lot of spiritual help and a whole lot of backup that is really helping them organize, maybe even just spiritually, just giving them the wherewithal. Okay, so they've definitely got the numbers, the oomph, the spiritual, it's almost like they're being guided or they've got a tailwind with spiritual help. So that's beautiful. And that Ace of Wands, and they're absolutely empowered with their vision. So they're very powerful. They're coming in strong and powerful. And even in the background, they've even got, I'm thinking that's military. So I don't know where those military people are coming from, or do they show up just when these people need them the most? Or is this the Mr. T and the white hats again? Because we know they're sort of shadowing a lot of this activity all over the world, keeping an eye on what the bad guys are doing. Okay, so yeah, with that Knight of Wands, that looks like, so they've got a lot of backup here. So I feel like maybe some of the lead people, so like Ricardo Boise, already know that they're backed up. And that's good to know. That gives them a lot more power and oomph, okay? But it's still going to be a little while. They got to fight ahead of them. They absolutely got to fight ahead of them. And these guys aren't the bad actors. It's going to be hard to get them out of there. We've got that 8 of Cups. And people are getting tired out too, because they've been really hammered hard. These guys have been hammered hard. And they've got so much corruption. There's still pockets of corruption. Pockets of these deep state players that didn't get the memo that they've lost. But so eventually I feel like they're going to have to get help from a positive and a good, well-meaning military. So I'm thinking in particular, Australia is going to need where the military steps out of the shadows, because they've got these pockets of dysfunction here that are so hard to rout out. So this is ground zero for the deep state, it looks like, and I've got that for a long time. We're so close, you guys. Humans are so close to coming out on the other side of this. It's just brilliant to watch. And I'm so glad I got to be in this incredible online family. I'm just so proud of us all. Thank you so much for watching my video. do like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already.